So I just watched the first 3 episodes of WandaVision, and wait a minute! Danny?
Yeah, it's me, Danny DeVito. I want an answer for why you didn't review the first 2 episodes last week. Do you think you can just use me and your viewers up like whores and not give us the reviews we desire? You're pushing it, Toma. You're pushing it. Jeez, Danny, I was getting to that. Give me a freaking second. Yeah, you better, or you're gonna feel some real consequences. Nobody messes with DeVito and gets away with it.
Sorry about that, guys. So the reason I didn't review the first 2 episodes of WandaVision when it first came out is I just didn't really have anything to say about the show. Like, it was basically just them recreating what sitcoms were like in the 50s and 60s. And although I really enjoyed that because as I was growing up, my parents showed me a lot of the shows they grew up with. So I'm pretty familiar and pretty nostalgic for shows of the style of the 1960s and 70s. And for the most part, I say those first 2 episodes, and for the most part, this 3rd episode, handle that very well. It does really feel like episodes of a show created in that era. And those first 2 episodes, and even most of this 3rd episode, are pretty much just, hey, it's like an episode from those old shows. And that novelty can really only last so long for me. I kind of came here more just for Marvel content than, hey, look, it's an old TV show kind of thing. So that's why I really didn't have much to say about those first 2 episodes. And this 3rd one, for the most part, just follows suit with that, in that it's a typical plot you'd see from a 70s sitcom, but, with the twist that it's Wanda and Vision. And it's not really till around the ending of this 3rd episode that I was kind of more getting invested in the overarching plot of the show. Because for the first 2 episodes, we get a few hints that something's up and not everything is what it seems. I think it's really only at the end of this 3rd episode that they really kind of delve into the more ominous kind of premise of the show, that Wanda has basically constructed this sitcom-esque universe for herself because she's so distraught after the events of Infinity War and Endgame that she needs this to cope. And I really like how they're kind of delving into the more unstable elements of that character. And there's just things like, oh, if anyone starts to notice that something's up, she just rewinds it and redoes it to fit her sitcom-esque romantic idea of how she wants the world to be. And I also really like the moment where they bring up Pietro, because that's just something that always bothered me, that they killed off Quicksilver, which kind of felt a bit obligatory, and that Joss Whedon just wanted to kill off a character, but we can't kill off any of the main Avengers. We have to kill off the character we just introduced. And then they just never mention him again, so it feels even more pointless that he even ever existed. So I'm glad they're finally bringing him up, and there's a chance he might show up, Wanda might construct him in this sitcom universe, because there are rumors that Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to come back. And it also is the first time in the show that Wanda, the real Wanda, starts to show through. She doesn't feel like she's the smiley, happy, cheery version of herself that she kind of constructed for this sitcom world. But she actually feels like Wanda as we knew her back then, and trying to cope with the real world things she's dealing with outside of this. But one thing I'm interested in is the idea that she's at least somewhat aware that this is not real and that she's behind all of this. And the idea that if anyone starts to get close to figuring out, she just removes them or redoes it, is very ominous and honestly kind of creepy. And I'm kind of interested in how the show is going to proceed from there. But I guess that's really all I have to talk about. Once again, this ending is kind of the first glimpse of the overall story we're getting. Those first 3 episodes, while enjoyable and fun, are pretty much just Marvel doing old sitcoms from past decades. And that's pretty much it. So I enjoy, but I'm kind of glad they're actually moving forward to the main story. I guess you can kind of see these first 3 episodes as kind of the first act of a movie, and we're going to get a lot more plot development in the next 6 episodes, being the 2nd and 3rd act of the story. And I have to say, I'm much more intrigued after seeing this 3rd episode than I was after the first 2, which is why I actually felt like I wanted to review this episode. But I thought I ought to kind of catch up on the rest of the series and still address what I thought of those episodes, which they're fun, but nothing much actually happens. But I'm looking forward to what we'll see next to this show, and hopefully it will continue to intrigue me as it goes along. See, Danny, I freaking addressed the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, you're off my list for now, Toma. But better watch it. I'm not so forgiving as I am today.